Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Pheasant Frequency. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This is, what is this? This is a channel where we bring through some messages, we scribble some doodles, tune into some frequencies, see what happens. I'm happy to have you here. I'm Sky, and let's get started. So, well, first of all, today's spirit guide on residency is the robin. The robin has been with me a lot on my recent travels. And what I thought was really cute, so if you could see my setup, you'd understand how connected it is to the theme of today's video. But before that, so I was using some books trying to prop up my phone. And they ended up not working out. But one of the books, I just realized, had the name Robin on it. So I thought that was cute. Maybe that's a synchronicity or a sign for someone else as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna step aside real quick and get myself back into the energy for today's transmission. Okay, so I was meditating about this last night and reflecting about all the progress from yesterday. And I'll show you, I took some notes here. And the first thing that came through, you know what, we're gonna draw while we talk. Oh, first do a card? We can do that after. Okay, so the first thing that came through was on starting, on beginning. Even right now, I'm thinking, oh, where should I start? Should it be in the middle, or over here, or over there? The message is that it doesn't matter. There is no need for, quote unquote, the right fill in the blank. And for me, this is important because I have been getting the message lately that you can't just talk the talk, you need to walk the walk, right? And so I got this message that I should do this channel and start this thing. And when that came through, I immediately thought, well, how am I going to do that? Like, I'm traveling. I don't even have a phone stand. I've never made a YouTube channel. I haven't. I have no idea what I'm doing. And my sort of, my humans started to not panic, but reach for all those you can call them excuses, but reach for all those, good old-fashioned reasons that you might put something off. Yeah? And so this message is about just starting. If there's something that you've been wanting to do and you don't have the right fill in the blank, if it's any constellation, you can see I'm using the notebook I already have. It's got indents from the page yesterday. I'm literally balancing my phone on a stool in a cabin while I'm traveling. I had no plan for this. Interesting how my voice keeps getting a little clogged up there. I think I'm working on clearing my throat chakra by doing these videos. So yeah, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a way. I didn't have anything. And I think I mentioned yesterday, but there was resistance. And even today, resistance. But the thing is, what I realized, number one, is that the messages want to come through for some time or in an amount of time. That's not it. Because this is a timeless reading. You're going to get this whenever you get this, and whenever you get this is the right time. If it resonates for you, then that means it's your message now. So that right away, it's not really about time. However, this does tie into the message because the thing about like progress, right, like quote unquote progress, is that time and distance are an agreement. The crow says yes in confirmation. I don't know if you can hear him. And so the sort of picture that I got in my head when this message came through, I can show you, is we think that like it's linear, right? Like you go from A and then you go to B, but it's not this. It's actually more like this. You start at A and then you go over here and up here and this and up and over. It looks like backwards. And then eventually you end up at B. Now, that tends to be how things work. And this is for a variety of reasons. You can consider that we do not always have the perspective of the giraffe, or some think of it as like an eagle, meaning, if we were to zoom out and see that in order to get to B, actually, the line does not go from here to here. It just doesn't. If you were to go from here to here, you would not become, number one, the version of you that could receive the thing that's over here. You'd end up actually getting like stuck somewhere here, and then you'd get rerouted and end up going that way by accident. So when you start here, wherever it is that you're starting, and even though it might take you on a wild goose chase looking sort of adventure, right? You're going around and you're like, oh my God, literally what is happening? I don't even, this could look like a lot of things. Changing your job, changing your friend circle, changing your hobbies, changing your diet. You might even stop and pick it up somewhere else for a minute and go over here. That might be necessary for you to learn something. There could be something to learn over here. You might come over here and kind of be in the same area, and then eventually you see what I'm saying, right? All that to say that progress does not need to show up on paper as going from one place to another place directly. Progress is, how does it want to say? Progress is waking up every day and choosing yourself. And progress is doing any little bit different or more, or even any amount of reframe that you didn't have yesterday, maybe. And be gentle with that you from yesterday, because we're always doing our best, and you can't know what you don't know until you know it. And you will know it in the perfect time, which is not something that we like to hear usually. But that is something that I have learned over and over again to be true. So maybe you'll learn that in time as well. Let's see. Is there anything else about that? No. So, again, I have all the reasons in the world to not be doing this, from a human perspective and a quote unquote readiness perspective. But I'm happy that I did, because what I also see and I feel in the energy is that if I don't transmit this message, there's going to be like a backup of messages, because I'm pretty plugged in most of the time. As long as I don't have, my own radio station too loud, the messages do want to come through. I usually get them for, friends or people that I'm thinking about, or if I connect to your energy, I'll get messages for you. And it's interesting. I'm not sure who I'm connecting to, but I just saw a dolphin. I love dolphins. And I saw a sort of like a bulldog, like a tan, khaki colored bulldog. Maybe some of you have a bulldog or a spirit animal that's a bulldog, or maybe you want to look up the medicine of the bulldog. Could be useful for someone right now. Interesting. The next one. Okay, so the next part of the message that came through is about commitment. And the thing that wanted to be said about commitment is that we have an idea, or people have told us, many societies or families or groups or whatever it is, we have this idea that commitment, once you commit to something, then you must uphold this commitment no matter what. And what the message about this would like to impart, they're saying, is to commit to yourself, not the commitment. So commit to yourself. Don't commit to the task or the person or whatever your commitment was. And this isn't to say that you should make commitments all willy-nilly, I'm hearing. Does anyone say that? That's funny. So the reframe on this, right? Okay, they're looking for a perspective shift. So you're not going to commit to just the person or the thing or the event or whatever it is that you committed to, but rather you want to commit to yourself. So you want to commit to listening and responding to you. So this means that should something within your commitment change, of course you want to think about it, right? Because you did make a commitment and that was a promise that you made, and those things do hold a lot of power. Okay, yeah, that's a whole separate conversation. But the most important thing in our lives that many of us are working on is how to connect to self and how to take care of ourselves and how to show up for ourselves, right? We're really good at showing up for other people. We're really good often at honoring these commitments, but what we're not honoring is ourself. And something about our circumstance or our being or any number of things might have changed from the time you made that commitment, right, to the time that it is now. So the ask here, again, is to commit to listening and responding to yourself. And this could look like regular stuff in everyday life as well, not just big, grand commitments, right? This could just be checking in and seeing, like, how am I doing? Like, what do I need? And if what you hear is, I need a drink, go get a drink. If what you need is, I need to rest, then rest. The more you do this, the more you will teach yourself that you are trustworthy, and then you will have access to more of yourself. So paradoxically, as most of this universe is a paradox, sometimes by doing less, you gain more. That's a message for someone. Yeah, so maybe somebody needs a snack, and maybe somebody needs a blanket. Maybe somebody needs a hug. Maybe, I don't know, I've found that a lot of times in reintegrating my inner child, I want simple foods. Like sometimes I just want bread and butter, like some toast with butter. And you can modify this to whatever degree you need to. Like I currently am having a thing with wheat, so I'm having some gluten-free bread with butter or vegan butter, depending on where I'm vibrating. But I think that's all about that. So yeah, that's that part. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm supposed to. So I have this deck, Forest Friends, Positive Inspiration from the Animal Kingdom. And I felt called to bring these today. We didn't really get into the cards too much yesterday, but I don't know, we'll see if a format starts to come through for these, but it did feel like I should pull a card here. So let's see what kind of message or animal would like to come through for those that are tuning in today. Are we gonna wait for it to jump out? Let's see. I usually let the cards pick themselves, but this deck is so small that they don't always find their way. All right, we're gonna take this one here that's on top. Okay. Interesting. I've been having this sort of energy today. Maybe you are too. Things are just sort of a little bit clumsy, a little off kilter. Could be smoother, not quite flow in the way you normally do. But that's part of it, So maybe a message for someone there. So this is the card. It's very sweet. I like the moth. I actually saw a new moth yesterday. I've never seen for the, what was it called? Not Cinnabon. I looked it up. It was really cool. Actually, it looked like, I drew a picture of it. Maybe I can show you without ripping my whole thing around. It looked like that. It looked like this. And I was so excited. So anyway, that was a cute little moth. Excuse me, Robin. So back to this. Here's the card. And this card says, Bear Embrace, Comfort. Bear hugs are the best kind of hugs. Hug a loved one today. Now, this could be your pet. This could be a literal other person. This could be a spirit guide, maybe like this Robin, if you have a little friend. This could also be yourself. You can definitely give yourself a hug. And maybe that's a message. Maybe someone needs to show themselves a little bit of love. Get in there and give yourself a hug. Let's do it together. So take your arms, wrap them around yourself and squeeze. Just see what it feels like to be hugged by yourself. I feel like I did that in a yoga class one time, and I was like, wow, that's so cute. But like, right, if you don't really think about that, like we hug people, maybe if you're a hugger, if you don't have to, I mean, if that doesn't resonate, you can just skip it. That's another message. Just because other people are doing something doesn't mean you have to. But anyway, yeah, if that does resonate for you, and if you've been feeling like you need a hug, but there's no one around to quote unquote give you a hug, you can give yourself one. Not contemplate. I was sort of thinking about like doing this in color. I think I'm just gonna keep it on a what do you call it? Like as you go basis, and like kind of see what goes on with what wants to come through. I guess that's what it'll be about. I also, yesterday, I don't know, how can I put it in here? I made, I drew a pheasant. I can't get him in this frame, right? But, yeah, because this isn't the kind of pheasant that I saw. I'm not in Nepal, but actually I don't know if they exist outside of Nepal. But anyway, that is the type of pheasant that exists. It's a rainbow pheasant. What was the name? Something with an M. I should have looked this up before I started talking about it. But anyway, I had a lot of fun. And when I look at him, it makes me laugh. He's like right over there just looking at me. Hey. There's a kind of like fun and silly energy that I'm connecting to right now. Oh, and that goes, I guess, into this next message here. So the next thing that came through was that on this journey, whether you're on a spiritual journey or a healing journey or just a journey of making it through the day, there's a lot of, how can we call it? A lot of emphasis that many are putting on like high vibes only and like only good vibrations. And you hear a lot of this kind of stuff. I personally think this is a bit of false light territory. We're not here to experience high vibes only. If you wanted to experience high vibes only, you literally would have chosen a different dimension to come to. So that's just one part of that. But the other side of that message, the part that wanted to come in, was that actually, rather than like strong arming yourself into high vibes, good vibrations, is that being yourself is your highest frequency. Being yourself is your highest frequency. And when you can tap into yourself, it's literally effortless. You're actually going to get energy from existing in your own frequency. And then you're going to be able to pass that energy on to others. When that came through, I got the number 47. And, oh, interesting. I had forgotten about these. But didn't I just say a bulldog showed up before? Interesting. So I had gotten a bunch of like symbols or images or things that came in when I wrote these down. I'm going to show you just a confirmation. The first one was bulldog. So I got the number 47. And then, and then I saw a bulldog, and I was shown a collar. I don't know if it's on the bulldog, but it was a collar, maybe a lighter color. I'm seeing a yellow one right now, like pale yellow. And then I got a petal or a petunia. I'm not sure. It was both actually. So yeah, take that if it resonates. The next thing I got was amaranthus or amaranth. Might be for someone. I saw a yellow sponge and dish soap. So maybe this is your reminder to buy a sponge and some dish soap, or maybe you are, I don't know, washing the dishes while you're watching this. And I don't know what's funny about that. Something feels silly. And then I saw a silver shoe. Okay, maybe like, and it looked almost like an oil lamp in the shape, like the shoe. I don't know how to say that. Like the shoe had like a long front. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to kind of like I'm not really making it a shoe now, am I? Anyway, it was, that's not what it looked like. That kind of looks like an elephant though. He's cute. Anyway, there was a silver shoe in there. So if any of that resonates for you, you can take it or don't. I got a message too to check the notes in your cell phone. I don't know if that was for you or for me. Maybe it's for both of us. And then you might also have some stuff in a notebook. But first you should check your phone is what I heard. So I don't know, maybe you're a writer and you write your ideas. Something about this where like, if you're not sure what to do next or if you're not sure where to go, yeah, look at your phone notes. Okay. Birds are so nice. I don't know if they're getting picked up on the phone microphone, but very relaxing. Anything else that wants to come in here? I had a moment earlier and I was like going through it, like I was not having it. And I didn't know what to do with myself, I thought. And I had this feeling to just go outside. And so I went outside. I didn't bring my phone. I brought a book in case I wanted to read. I brought a little box of crayons and I brought my little notebook here. And that's when I drew the little moth and everything. Those were like friends and flowers that I had seen yesterday. And this is something else that I keep learning over and over again, that nature is free. It's almost always accessible, and it is so healing. You don't need to necessarily like go out there and do anything. For me, what healed my ailments today was like going outside and dumping my crayons onto the grass and drawing some pictures. I didn't look at references. I just kind of drew the flowers that I remembered yesterday. That's another thing. I think I already said this before maybe, but stopping to smell flowers is incredible. This is something I have overlooked, it seems, for quite a long time now. In my own journey, I used to find that when I would go offline for a long time and have a depression or some kind of more challenging episode, when I would come back, one of the first things I would always notice was flowers. I'd be like, wow, those flowers are so purple. And I would feel so amazed at just the fact that flowers exist. So maybe if you're currently going through it, consider smelling a flower. That also is usually available if you're in a place that you have access to flowers, or if it's a time of year that flowers are around. If not, maybe you can go to a shop that has flowers, or you can, I don't know, walk into the lobby of a hotel and smell their flowers and then pop out. Doesn't require anything necessarily, just depends on your location and what you have access to. So if you can, maybe smell a flower. If you can't, connect with nature in any way that you can, whatever nature is around you. It can be snow, it can be trees, it can be just the wind, anything. Nature is magic, and nature holds basically all the medicine that we need. And yeah, nature provides, gives us everything, really. Thanks, nature. Shout out to nature. No, for real though, she's amazing. I'm feeling, oh, I hear another fly. Is that one for this? Now we can save them. I'll talk next time maybe about some bugs. Then, so at the end of the meditation I was doing to see if there were any more messages that wanted to come through, what I got was carrots, just carrots. So maybe that's for someone. Carrots might be important to you at this time or always. Maybe there's some rabbits. Maybe the rabbit is something to look at. Maybe there's a rabbit supporting you. I felt like I manifested a rabbit earlier because I was sitting and I drew a little drawing of a bunny, and then I turned around and there was a tiny bunny in the field nearby. So that was cute and fun. I always, yeah, that's, sorry, I'm laughing because I should share the video sometime, but we were drawing, my partner and I were drawing outside our house in Japan. We painted the wall with chalkboard paint to make like a community art board. And we drew this calico cat, and like 10 seconds later, a calico cat like walked out from out of nowhere. And we both were like, oh my God, did we just manifest this cat? Like what? And she is still around. So we feed her every day. She lives in our neighborhood. I'm fairly convinced that we created her. Let me know if you've ever manifested something by accident like that or on purpose, because seems like we are very powerful, as you may or may not know. Yeah, I think that's going to be about it. And the very last message that I heard last night that I wrote down was diamond in the rough, which is a whole thing. Maybe you should go watch Aladdin. Maybe you want to consider your diamond in the rough, because we all have one, whether or not we can see it or not. I was thinking, how do I do these? Do I write the date? Do I just write the number? Today's page is 214, February 14th. 5. So if you add those, that's 7. Might be important for somebody. This is technically, well, I did yesterday as 0. So technically this is going to be number 1 here. And I think that's all I've got for you. So thank you for joining me, for joining us for today's portal. Ooh, the sun is coming in. Beautiful. What a nice send-off. All right, thank you all for being here. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.